bring in Fran Duffy for Fran's Film Room, sponsored by PHLY. Fran, welcome to the show. How are you?
What's up, Fran?
What's happening, guys?
Wonderful to see you. How is Francis celebrating the clinch?
He's running around downstairs. He's in the middle. It's the start of winter break today, so I mean he's on cloud nine.
Yeah, he's got no bedtime. This is two weeks of no rules. All right, Fran, give me a thumbs up or thumbs down on that performance.
I mean, look, it's like as thumb sideways as it could possibly be. Obviously, the results matter, right? You got a big win. It's a division win against a rival. It seals the division. There's a lot to if you are
overcame some adversity in the game.
Yeah, like this is absolutely, you would say like, oh yeah, like great. This is great. There's a reason to celebrate. But I do think though, this is like a process results thing. This is a should we be getting too far out over our skis type of situation. Yeah, this didn't feel good watching tonight. I mean, the defense is awesome. The defense, and they went out and they did really well against a unit that obviously just did not belong on the same field. Yeah, especially by the time you get down to Josh Johnson, this is one of the worst offenses in football right now. So yes, reason to be excited. But to the person in the chat that said like, oh, I'd rather have an ugly win than the pretty loss that the Rams had the other night. Yeah, I think if the Rams were played against the Eagles right now, like I'd feel pretty good about how that matchup would go. Like it's just to me, you can't just go off the results because the results in December don't mean anything when you get to January, when you get to February. And right now, like I'm looking like at the end in mind, the big picture in mind. This team has a lot to clean up still, and any of the positivity that I feel like I had the last 2 weeks after watching the film on offense, I don't know if I'm going to feel that same way after watching it over the next 2 days before Monday afternoon show. But we'll see. That's what the film's for.
But Fran, didn't they aside from the ugliness, they did move the ball very well at times, right? I know it's a bad defense.
Yeah, against a bad defense, the run game looked pretty good then obviously they belted off some explosives in the end, which was great. But guys, like this team is going to have to like lean on the pass game. They're going to have to throw the ball to win consistently, and I just don't know that there's like a lot of sustainability with some of the things that they're doing. But yeah, I don't know. Like, I just, to me, like, especially, and maybe I just have a bad taste in my mouth from some of the situational stuff. The end of the first half, again, like mind-melting sequences there. I personally like did not the 2-point conversion play just didn't make any sense to me at the end of the game. Like I think like context matters there. Dan Quinn just threw up the white flag on the previous possession. There was no reason to think that team was going to score 3 touchdowns. So to me, like you're putting players in harm's way there in that kind of situation. And we saw how that went. Yeah, I don't know. Like to me, like I just have a bad taste in my mouth after that game.
We're gonna get to some of the positives on defense, and we're gonna break those plays down. But let's stick here on offense because we are here, and also with the game management stuff. Because boy, did that first half, the end of the first half, drive me absolutely insane. I mean, they're down 3 points after what has been an ugly first half, but they've been moving the ball on offense. They get the ball at their own like 20 with like 3:20 left. They've got 2 timeouts and the 2-minute warning. And they're just lollygagging. Like the only point of that possession is to drain as much clock as possible so that they can attempt a field goal and not give the ball back to the Commanders because they're so worried always about the other team getting the ball with 20 seconds left. How about you go get a little giddy up in your ass and try to go score a touchdown because you've got these amazing players. I'm so tired, as I said at halftime, of this tension between we have so much ego, but we are so always cowardly when we have the ball. Enough.
But Bo, this is why I was so angry about the 2-point conversion play because it's faux aggression. It's fake tough guy stuff. Like it's like, oh, we're gonna go up 19 because now, oh yeah, we're gonna assert our dominance. We're NFC East champs, and you're not gonna catch us. Look how smart we are. You've had how many opportunities in the second half, like in the second quarter of games, 2-minute drill to say like, yeah, we are good situational teams. And again, like time after time after time in all these different situations, 1 timeout, 2 timeouts. We've got the ball 3 minutes to go. We've got the ball 30 seconds to go. It doesn't matter. They consistently show like, yeah, we're just going to turtle here in this kind of situation. Possessions don't matter. This was an opportunity where I'm sitting here. I'm like, oh, like they might actually go here. This is a great opportunity for them to go pedal to the metal. But instead, like you wait to the end of the game and that's where, oh yeah, like the offense is out in the field. And I'm sitting here like, I remember how that game went in January. I remember like the tensions being, yeah, that stuff does carry over. You know, Vinny made the good point, like about Javon Kinlaw, like, yeah, like, that stuff lingers from year to year. You know, the momentum's not real, but like bad blood is real. Like that stuff carries over from one season to the next. And to just say like, oh yeah, we're gonna go up 19 here, like it makes no sense. And to me, it goes against everything that you've shown with all the first half stuff. They are so in their head with the tush push stuff.
Oh my God!
Try and draw people offside. Like,
can I play devil's advocate here?
It's a bad.
Go
deal.
ahead.
Going up 19 was the right technically decision. It ended up being an 11-point game with 2 minutes to go. Going for 2 technically is the right logical play there.
As Fran said, the context matters. Like the Commanders had thrown up the flag. I mean, if you don't trust your defense in that context with, you know, and it was like what? When the Commanders scored their touchdown, like 1:30 left. I don't know. It's fine. I could sort of get there, but not given everything else we saw in that game. Like
and Jamie, like that's not even like me like second guessing like after this happened. Like literally, like I can pull Meg from it as they're going out there.
Oh,
like,
I don't doubt that's how you feel.
Why are they doing? There's to me like this is just like we're doing. Oh yeah, we're not even gonna think twice about this because this is who we are. But then when you have that ability to show that aggressiveness at any other point, when you're not up by 17, like I don't know.
But if they're just going off of a chart and he's like removing emotion from it, and he's going, fair. And he's going, all right, well, the chart says go.
You do want him to just go by what the chart says.
Yeah, like I think he was just going by the chart. I don't think it was that purposeful.
Yeah, Fran, just don't ask ChatGPT, boy, will be pissed. do we go for 2 or not?
Yeah, I won't be doing that.
Sticking with, I'm sorry, Nick not trusting Elliott on that 4th and 7 to kick that field goal. I also think flies against everything he says he believes in. Like, trust your guys or don't trust your guys. That bothers me a little bit. I understand that, but it bothers me. And let's talk about the tush push because boy, is the tush push dead.
It's a disaster.
They have got to just throw it away right now. Bring it back next season and work on it in the offseason if you want. But they are so in their head about it. They're trying all of these little things. I mean, they're trying to draw people off sides. They're obviously committing false starts. And it's not effective when they're doing it. So go call something else. And guess what? When they get backed up and they get forced into throwing the ball, they're able to score touchdowns.
Yeah, even like the attempt to draw them off sides on the opening drive. If you're going to do that from the tush push. They were jumping over the pile the last time you played this team. You know, like opening drive, they're going to be all lathered up. Like that's where you do line up in the 4. If you're going to try and draw them off, like, yeah, I completely agree that they are completely in their heads with this. I don't know if it means like you throw it away, or I don't know if this is just like, hey, like back to basics with it. But like everything else, like it's just there's a lack of rhythm, there's a lack of confidence. It doesn't feel good watching it right now.
Okay.
Woosah. Everybody take a breather.
All of that aside.
Back-to-back champs.
Back-to-back champs, and the defense is awesome. So let's talk about the defense, and let's start with the big man, Unk, as we said. BG.
By the way,
another sack.
The clip from last week that you guys played of the Unk doing the rope.
So good.
So funny.
BG looking like the football version of Uncle Drew.
He's been awesome. He's awesome.
Killing it.
And like we know that he can rush from the inside, but boy, has it added an actual little dynamic that they were missing on obvious pass rush situations. What did you see on the sack that he had?
Yeah, it's funny. There were actually some like interesting parallels with this sack here in this game compared to the 2 that happened last week. We remember that if you looked in the coverage end of things, there was a pass off on both of those plays last week against the Raiders. between Quinyon Mitchell and Zach Bond. And so when I went back and watched this play from the broadcast copy, what happens? A nice pass off here between Quinyon Mitchell and Zach Bond. But Lindsay, let's go to the first shot here. BG1, where again, the Eagles come out. It's 3rd and 9, and you've got a 5-man, what I call a diamond front, where you've got linebacker Jahad Campbell walked up onto the line of scrimmage, standing up over the center. So right now, you're just basically saying, okay, we are going to try and see if we can force you just to occupy that center, even for a tick, even for a half count. Campbell's not going to rush here. He's going to end up dropping in coverage, but we're just trying to see if we can just distract that center, even for a split second, just to give our interior rushers a little bit of a head start here on this play. If we go to the next shot, you're going to see that BG comes off the ball and they are sliding his direction. The center snaps the ball. He makes sure that Jahad's not coming, and now he's sliding to his right. So this is essentially a double team on BG, but it's only a double team if BG lets it be a double team, because what he is then going to do, if we go to the next shot, is he is going to basically tilt his rush inside towards the center. He's expecting the slide coming his direction, and he says, okay, I'm not going to I know that you are sliding my way. This isn't like a true double team. The center, or the right guard rather, if I'm going inside and going away from the guard, well, now the double team is going to slide out towards the defensive end, and I am left one-on-one with the center. And so he does a really good job of just kind of altering his path slightly here and going one-on-one against the center. If we go to the next shot, we can see that BG just basically uncorks this guy. He goes on that inside shoulder, and he gets him completely turned to the sideline. If you're an offensive lineman, this is the last position you want to be in. If you're a tackle, if you're a guard, if you're a center, the worst place you can be is being parallel to the sideline, because obviously you're not in position to block anybody, but you also lack any kind of base. So you're going to get pushed. You're going to get pushed off balance. You're going to get pushed back into the pocket. So Mariota's got to step up here. But now I want to take a look at the coverage end of it. If we go to the next shot, you can see that Quinyon Mitchell, who is lined up against the tight end, Ben Sinnott here, he passes that shallow cross over to Zach Bond. Bond steps up. It looks like that's where Mariota's looking. Obviously, we can't see deep down the field, but it seemed like that was the direction he was looking. Bond is all over this. So now Mariota can't throw it. And then you get if we go to the last shot here, we get the sack celebration, not just from BG, but Jalen Phillips once again getting on the action. Jalix Hunt in there, Mora Ojimo in there. So it was great being able to see 55 get his 3rd sack. I think EJ said it was his 3rd sack in 9 snaps. Yes. If you go back to last week. So a lot of efficiency here from BG.
Anything else stand out to you from the defensive performance, Fran, before we get to some offensive breakdowns?
I mean, you guys hit on it earlier, but Jordan Davis was phenomenal.
Beast.
It's great to be able to see him kind of get his flowers on an island game and a national broadcast. Greg Olson pointing him out. But I mean, the touchdown on the goal line, like he nearly stops that on his own after getting the run stop on the previous snap. So he just consistently shows up. It seemed like he was in the backfield a handful of times as well against Mariota. To me, that was the other big standout from this game, was just number 90 in the middle.
Fran, even at that stop, I thought the whistle should have been blown, because he started driving his feet backwards, and I think he just kind of lets him go, and this Joker keep on running. Mm-hmm. Definitely was the way he dominated and just threw the damn center was crazy. No white teeth.
He could have used a little extra help from Byron Young there. 94 was in the backfield and had hands on the running back in that moment where it's grab him, pull him, try and keep him from advancing into the goal line on that 2nd and 3rd effort. If Young does that, you might get him. Jordan Davis probably gets credit with the stop there, and the play is blown dead. But they didn't get that, and obviously the running back was able to plunge in for the score.
I thought Reed Blankenship showed up in this game as well, and certainly made that nice TFL. Are you at all worried about Adoree Jackson getting beat on that one play to Terry McLaurin?
Nah, I think McLaurin's a good player, so that to me that's a unsurprising. To me, that goes, and I know we've come a long way since then, but that's like when he loses on the double move to CeeDee Lamb in week 1, and everyone's up and up. I'm CeeDee Lamb's gonna beat people on that route. That route beats corners, and CeeDee Lamb especially is gonna defeat corners on those kind of plays. So that's good player beats a veteran corner, an older veteran corner in that kind of spot one-on-one.
All right, let's break down one of Jalen Hurts' touchdown passes here, Fran. And this is what we were talking about. This is they get sort of forced into having to throw the ball. They line up for the tush push. They get the false start. Fred Johnson then gets called for holding. So it's 3rd and goal from the 15. And I thought, just watching live, this is one of Jalen's. I mean, the spiral of the throw is not the most impressive thing you've ever seen, but the way that he steps up and throws as he's coming up it's the kind of throw we don't usually see him make, and I thought it was a real like sign of something to be very excited about. Tell me what you saw.
Yeah, this was a concept that I've always known as bash, where you've got two basically in-breaking routes from the outside, and you have the corner route going over top of it. It's a three-man concept, but it can be both a horizontal read for the quarterback and a vertical read, a high-low read for the quarterback, and that's where we're going to start. We're going to start on the high-low end of it. If we go to the first shot here, Lindsay, it's Dallas 1, where you can see all three routes, and again, this can be a high-low read for the quarter. If we go to the next shot, actually, we can take a look what I mean there. It could be a high-low where you're basically putting that corner on the outside in a high-low situation where, all right, you have the corner route from Dallas Goedert going in his direction, and you have the in-breakers underneath. Greg Olsen pointed out in the broadcast that Sander still came down on Jahan Dotson running the slant route underneath, and that opens things up on the back end. But let's say if Jalen Hurts gets any kind of coverage cue before the snap or right at the snap, that the corner is going to sync with this. Maybe he's playing cover 3 and he's going to get a lot of depth here and basically take that corner away. Well, now this becomes a horizontal read and it's just double slant. You're not even paying attention to that corner route, and this ball's probably going to Dotson on the backside slant. So when I say that it's kind of like both a high-low and a horizontal read, that's what I mean there on that play. But obviously here on this one, Sander still, he's playing this a little bit shallow, and Jalen sees it pretty quickly, and that's why he stayed with Goedert here on this play. Stepped up to avoid the pressure. If we go to the next shot here, Lindsay, one of the things you will see from this route concept at times as well is that this could be a little bit of an option for Dallas Goedert, where he could break this down the seam. He could break this to the corner, sometime even go to break this out towards the post. He's basically just reading the leverage of the safety here. But as he's in the middle of the route, he sees that he has the ability to win this towards the outside, towards the flag. So he's going to run this to the corner. And then, Bo, as you mentioned, this now becomes ball play. So when we go to the next shot here, one of the big, and it wasn't the prettiest ball from a catchability standpoint, right? The spiral wasn't perfect, but he stepped up. It was a little bit fast, stepping up in the pocket. That's probably why I think the ball wasn't the prettiest coming out, just because he didn't have the best base under him. But this was where the ball should be. Could have been a little bit further outside, but you're always going to try and miss high when you're going up into the back of the end zone, and that's obviously where Goedert is going on this play. You don't want this to be low. This is actually a great visual as to why you want this to be high, because if you're going to miss, you don't want this to be low and inside, where now that safety coming from the backside has the ability to make a better play on the football. So the fact that he's able to put this high where only Goedert could go and get it, the safety actually did a nice job in terms of coverage. Like that's as tight a coverage as you're going to have there on that one. But Jalen put it where he needs to, and then Dallas did a great job of going up, attacking the football, and coming down with it. Yeah, it was good execution on 3rd and long in the red zone.
All right, last one to break down in the red zone is the Saquon touchdown, which I think elicited the first real Saquon we've had in a while. Because boy, was this a monster run.
Yeah, to me, this was a good example of a game where when I'm watching Saquon run, I'm like, he is still the same physical presence that he was a year ago. This is not a situation of dead legs and he's worn down after last year. To me, this has been all season long more of an issue of the blocking and the circumstances and the execution around Saquon, as opposed to a physical problem with him. And I think that this was a really good example of that, because it wasn't just his ability to break the tackle at the second level, but you saw that secondary burst on that long run at the end that set up the Bigsby touchdown. You saw him accelerate at the second and third level. That you get him in space, he's got that ability to make those kinds of plays. He just hasn't been given that opportunity all that often this year, and sometimes by fault of his own in terms of just pressing a little bit. But to me, more of the situation around him. But let's get into the first shot here, and this has and I don't know if Jalen Hurts is actually reading here on this play, but there's the idea that he is reading the backside defensive end. Goedert lets that defensive end inside, and I circle 3 defenders because all 3 of these guys are affected by the mesh point here with Jalen Hurts and Saquon Barkley. The defensive end, that's the first circle to the left, he is going right upfield at Jalen Hurts. Frankie Louvu, who's the bigger circle on the right, he cheats a little bit towards the outside, and Goddard's able to get him blocked at the second level for that reason. And then Bobby Wagner, he kind of slow plays it a little bit. He still is playing as if Saquon Barkley is going to get this football, but he still kind of hesitates a little bit and then presses the line of scrimmage. to me, like this sets up Tyler Steen's block perfectly. If you go to the next shot here, you could see that Steen's able to get two hands here on Bobby Wagner. Again, that's that top circle, the smaller circle at the top. You could see that both Luvu and the defensive end, 93, are both taken out. The defensive tackle, I didn't circle, is also taken out. So all these guys are cut off by the threat of Jalen Hurts keeping the football, whether it's for an RPO or on a zone read. So again, just getting back into that and what that can do for the run game and helping those guys out. Like, yeah, that it absolutely plays a factor. And Saquon Barkley puts his foot in the ground and gets downhill. If we get to the next shot, the fact that he scores here, I mean, it just, again, speaks to the balance. It speaks to the power. It speaks to the athleticism here from Saquon Barkley. He shakes through this. And then we get him in the end zone, me mugging the camera, and we get the Eagles on their way to victory and sealing the NFC East.
Beautiful stuff, my friend.
Fran, what was your just raw reaction to the O-line today, without diving into the tape?
Okay, it was not their worst game. I wouldn't say like, oh man, they're back either. It was okay. It seemed it wasn't great.
Hopefully you get Lane Johnson back soon.
Yeah.
Okay.
The penalties continue to be an issue. Yeah, like I just, we don't need to rehash the stuff we talked about earlier, but I don't have a great feel in this offense right now. It's tough to feel like super confident, but they obviously took care of business here against the Washington Commanders.
I want to ask about that because we all spent the week that maybe this is going to turn into the under center team, and they flirted with it like that first possession, and then they sort of just went back to being the shotgun team, which I think is fine because that is who they are. It's almost better than trying to pretend to be something else. But it goes to your point of I still don't know. Wild card week at the link, they're playing whoever. I don't know what kind of game plan they're going to have. I don't know how they're going to try to attack because I don't think they know what they want to be yet.
And that's, to me, like we're getting into, this is like big picture stuff, but to me, like coaches go about game planning and how we want to attack other opponents one of two ways. Hey, this is our identity. We're going to do what we do, and we are going to be better at you than this, right? Like you aren't going to be able to stop us because we're going to out execute you. But this is our identity, and and then there's, hey, we are going to be multiple, and we're going to do all these different things, and no matter what you throw at us, we're going to game plan around it, and we are going to beat you at that. Like I have always preferred the former. Like I like this is our identity. Jim Schwartz 4-3 1 gap. Like this is us, right? Like this is our identity. We're gonna out execute you, and we're just better than you. Versus, hey, like this week we can do this, and then this week, oh, you're not good against that. All right, we're gonna do that this week, and going off like the Cheesecake Factory menu. Like to me, like I prefer the former as opposed to the latter. But I think that the latter is the way that this offense is built and the way that they kind of operate, which is fine. Like again, like that's fine. But you still need to be able to execute, and you still, when you strip away certain things, like there's one thing that was interesting, like first half. I don't know. There had to be like 15 empty snaps like in the first half. Was there one in the second half? Like it was just like it just feels like a disjointed thing. And we've talked about that a lot this season, where it's like, oh, like there was a lot of 13 personnel in the first half, and then it was just all 11 in the second half. Like
right.
Where the identity like shifts even throughout the course of the game.
And just to be accurate about it, according to True Media, so last week was their highest under center percentage in a game this season was 45.5%. This game was down to 21%, and that's like just below average for their season average. So, they backed off it a little bit, and maybe that's, again, as you say, maybe that is a game plan thing. Maybe it's this game is turning one way. We don't need to lean into it. Maybe it's you played with it early and it wasn't working very well, so you pull out of it. But it just goes to show we still don't know, and they still don't know who they are yet.
I've got some next-gen numbers. Would you like some next-gen numbers?
Oh, yeah.
Please.
All right, let's start. Let's go Saquon Barkley. I'm just going like right off the rip here. So this is literally from next gen right after the game. Saquon Barkley rushed for 132 yards in 21 attempts, 1 touchdown. He forced 6 missed tackles, a season high 63 yards after missed tackles, which makes sense.
That one big play.
I would imagine most of that was on that final run because he made a defender miss in the backfield and then went for 40 yards. So they were literally the next paragraph. A significant portion of that came on his 48-yard run in the fourth quarter. He forced 3 missed tackles and gained 53 yards after those missed tackles. Yeah, so all of that came from that one run. Barkley was particularly effective running to the left side, accumulating a season-high 101 yards and a touchdown on 13 carries, running behind Jordan Mailata and Landon Dickerson. So again, a lot of that came from that 48, half that yardage came from that final run. Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts was pressured on just 4 of his 37 dropbacks in Week 16, his lowest pressure rate in a game in his entire career, 10.8%.
Wow.
Hurts was perfect, targeting the short area of the field, 0 to 10 air yards, completing all 15 of his passes for 129 yards and a touchdown. Hurts recorded a 54.1% dropback success rate. That's his 3rd highest in a game this season, and his second straight game over 50%. So there's some Jalen. The pressure rate number was interesting, but that's par for the course. This Washington team has not been able to pressure anybody all season long. A.J. Brown. A.J. Brown caught 9 of his 12 targets for 95 yards in the Eagles' Week 16 victory over the Commanders. Brown has earned double-digit targets in 5 of the last 6 games after only doing so once in his first 8 games this season. Brown had nearly all of his production come on hitches and slants, catching all 8 targets for 71 yards across 15 combined routes. On his other 17 routes, he caught just 1 of 4 targets for 24 yards. So A.J. Brown doing work underneath. And then the last nugget comes from Cooper DeJean, who was targeted 8 times on 24 coverage snaps in Week 16 against the Commanders, allowed just 4 catches for 32 yards, forced 4 tight window throws, and recorded 4 PBUs, including an interception. His 4 passes to defense were a career high and the second most by an Eagles defender in a game this season, trailing only Quinyon Mitchell, who had 5 pass defenses in Week 4 against the Bucs. So Cooper DeJean, obviously the interception, a big play in the second half.
Cool.
One final thing I will add is on the offense, it was nice to see Jalen as a scrambler a little bit more involved in this game. 3 scrambles for first downs. That's the most he's had since Week 4. He hadn't had more than 1 since Week 4. And so that is a true thing where even if the offense stays as kind of static as it has been, just adding that element alone could be enough to win a game.
And at least 2, I'm trying to remember if the third one was, but at least 2 of them were on empty. And that can be, guys, one of the things that is a coaching point for a quarterback, especially an athletic quarterback. In empty is, we've talked about like all the pros of, being in empty and what that can do, to basically like give you all the information pre-snap about what the defense is doing. Are they in man? Are they in zone? It prevents all those disguises. Well, again, like the ball against in empty, like, should be out pretty quickly. For the most part, it's almost always like balls out fast because you've got that information. So typically coaches tell quarterbacks like, hey, if the ball's not out quick, run, like all caps, like go, like, be decisive and go. So that could be one of those things where getting an empty maybe kind of gives Jalen that extra nudge a little bit to be more decisive on those scrambles.
All right. Great stuff, Fran, on the Fran's Film Room presented by Ashley. We will see you Monday at Reading Terminal to break down this game a little bit further. Enjoy the weekend. Thank you so much.
That's right. I'll see you guys on Monday, and we'll see what the film shows.